Jets Broncos game in London on Sunday. It's not just gonna be me today. We got Ben back again from last week's podcast and the predictions podcast. Um, so like I said, we're gonna be doing the Jets Broncos game. Before we get into that, please like, subscribe, share. All support's much appreciated. I'm having tons of fun doing this. And I really hope that I can keep doing it. So yeah, support would be much appreciated, and uh, I'll have Ben's Twitter linked in the description. Go check him out. Great follow on Twitter. Um, so yeah, without further ado, let's just get right into the game. So going into this game, if you listen to last week's pod, you would kind of know my expectations. I was thinking we'd go in, handle the Jets pretty good, win by a couple scores at least. But obviously it went pretty far from that. So um, I don't know if you want to share some of your expectations coming into this, Ben. I know you kind of said some last week, but
Yeah, we talked about on the pod that we expected it to pretty much be something that we could easily win in. I think my prediction was like 31-17, something around there. Um, yeah, I expected a pretty easy win, and then we did float around the idea that it could be a close game. But I thought if it was a close game, we'd see better from both offenses. I did not expect a 13-11 win. It just was not pretty at all on the offensive side of the ball.
yeah, I mean it was really, really ugly, just all around offense from both teams. Like you said, I kind of thought maybe it would be closer. There's lots of factors that were kind of pointing in that direction coming into this week, but that it was just a absolute garbage performance by both offenses. Jets defense really didn't do all that much. It was kind of just us messing up and having costly penalties, which I'll talk about later. Just stuff like that. And then, I mean, the Jets offense just isn't good in general, and our defense is really good, so took care of business there. Um, so now I think kind of just gonna go over some points I got from this game, and I mentioned it just a second ago, and penalties were brutal this game for us. And it's not like they were Um, it's not like the refs were just calling them for fun. We were committing the penalties over and over and over. Matt Pert especially was really, really bad playing left guard in Powers' place. I just did not like what I saw whatsoever there. We had holding on, I'm pretty sure Quinn on the in the end zone ended up being a safety. Um, it was just a really ugly game penalty wise for us.
Yeah, and I wrote that down as well. And I with the Jets 11 points, I don't have the defense credited for giving any of those up. Um, I mean, we saw their first two field goals. They started at what, like R30 and then R40 or something.
Yep.
So those were their six. They had the safety to get to eight, which again, the offense's fault. And then the only field goal they had genuinely is when they started at their 42 because of that kick return. So, I mean, the defense held their part. They didn't allow any long drives. They didn't allow really any long scoring drives. I mean, the Jets had 30 yards on that field goal, which, I mean, we'll take a 30-yard drive all day because usually they'll start at 20 to 25, get to like a 50, 60-yard field goal and punt away. But this offense and the special teams has just been killing every single game so far.
Yeah, it was a really good game from the defense, like you said. I mean, really, if our offense did their thing and the special teams did their thing, just played average, defense probably has a shutout because they just didn't allow yards. They didn't let Fields get out of the pocket and run really. They did a really good job containing him. They didn't get to him very fast, but they made him hold on to the ball, so then they did end up getting to him. Um, so I mean, yeah, defense really they held their own there. They did an amazing job. Something else I got from this game, especially in the first quarter, is man alive, Bo Nix was absolutely cooking in the first quarter. Um, what the stats here? He Wow, it's going so slow. All right. So in the first quarter, he went 11 for 13 passing, 101 yards, one touchdown. He had a carry for 11 yards. I mean, you cannot ask for any better from a QB for that. I mean, he was slicing up the defense. We were letting him throw. We were running it. Although it wasn't the best run game ever, but we were still running it, which opens up the pass game. And Sean was calling a good game in the first quarter. It was going really good. And then obviously we'll talk about probably later, but the offense really kind of shut down. They were pretty non-existent for the rest of the game, but that first quarter was amazing to see.
Yeah, I mean the first quarter Bo was dealing, and before I get to, all the points that I wrote down to try and get to in the podcast, I'm gonna start by saying this game was solely on defense, and there was no blame whatsoever for Sean Payton and special teams. Offense was lights out. It was a great game. Um, I'm trolling. This game pissed me off, but I don't want to start too negative. So the defense, obviously, like we'll talk about this nearly every single podcast, or I mean, whichever one I'm on, it'll always be the defense. This is the first time I saw it today. First time an offense went without a single explosive play in a game in the last 4 years. And I mean, we expected like dominant performances this season. We've talked about it when we went through our award predictions, how we thought the team would do. But I mean, this is the kind of game where we expected this. The Jets pretty mediocre at best offense versus an elite top two, top three defense. Um, I mean, we saw our defense had the same amount of sacks as Justin Fields had completions. And I mean, when I see stats like that, you kind of expect a blowout or at least like a very big differential in terms of like points scored, like 30 to 3. I mean, Kendall Hinton had more passing yards net than Fields did this game. So, I mean, there's a lot negative to talk about, but the defense is not part of that whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean, like like you said, it's gonna be something that's mentioned every podcast, but the defense is just absolutely amazing. I mean, yeah, this offense really they need to do this offense and special teams. That's a really underrated part of this. They really need to kind of step in and um, they just need to play like average, and we could easily be undefeated. But I mean, they're deciding to pick only certain quarters to really do good. We saw that in the Eagles
Yeah.
game. They picked the fourth quarter to do that, so ended up working out. But they really need to put a
hmm
full game together.
Yeah, it really comes down to like the crucial moments. And I know the Eagles game, like you said, we did in the fourth quarter, which is a great quarter to choose when to like start lighting on fire. But I mean, we've seen it in the Chargers game, we've seen it in the Colts game, we've seen it in this game where we have the ball with a chance to ice it or at least, produce a long drive to kind of like close it out. And I know it's a Jets, so like going three and out, making the defense force a stop isn't the worst thing, but you don't want to be in that position. So yeah, we had the ball with 3.5 minutes left in the fourth quarter. We were still up two, and the Jets had two timeouts, pretty sure. But I mean, that's the type of scenario where you want two or three first downs, get down to at least the 2-minute warning, probably even past that. But I mean, immediately 3 yard run, Mims fumble for -2 yards. We still got the ball back, and then Nix took a 6 yard sack. And I mean that whole drive took 57 seconds. And that's not really like what frustrated me the most. What frustrated me was the defense was playing cover one on that third down. It was third and 10 or so. So they had that one high safety, QB spy obviously, and I mean Bo held the ball for 5 seconds. But this is when I get into Sean Payton's play calling after those 5 seconds have passed, which is far more than quarterbacks normally hold the ball, there was only one player that was past the six looking for the ball, and that was Sutton. And obviously, with the cover one high safety, they had that guy on Sutton along with Sauce. So you're not really expecting to throw that ball to him. So I mean, every other guy was covered man to man really well. It was just a really bad play call, I think, for that third down. And there's been a lot of bad play calls this whole game, like such as that Adam Prentice 3rd and 10. Don't even get me started. But yeah, I mean, you want to see better drives, especially in those late fourth quarter moments where you kind of need to stall, need to get past that 2 minute warning. And 57-second drive against the Jets, 3 and out, is just absolutely awful.
I mean, yeah, it was just a really bad called game. You had me going in the first half there where you were talking about Sean called a good game. Because it was a brutal game from him. Like you said, that 3rd and 10 run with our fullback Adam Prentice. That I don't understand that whatsoever. Um, Even when Sean's calling a good game, something I do criticize pretty heavily is the different routes he puts on the field. Um, Sometimes it does work out great. He gets wide open guys, and we did see that in the first quarter of this game with Nate Atkins. Um, but sometimes, like you said, on that 3rd down, I mean, it's just brutal routes. And it's not exactly the receiver's fault. It would help if we had better receivers, but it's not their fault really at the end of the day because all the routes just they don't work off of each other. They don't help each other. It's just something that really hurts our passing offense. Obviously, when receivers can't get open, it's something we've had since last year. I feel like it's kind of a little bit of a problem this year again. Not quite as bad, but um, Sean definitely has to be better. And it's kind of weird because he always talks about after every game how he has to be better, but I don't know about you, Ben, but I don't think I heard one thing from Sean saying that he had to be better after this game.
No, I didn't either. And I mean, you talked briefly about the first quarter, how Bo was, on fire. He was getting completions. He had that touchdown, which, yeah, that was a great play call. Adkins was wide open. But I mean, that's what does frustrate me with Sean is, I mean, I feel like he tries to overcomplicate things, especially against teams like this. Or maybe he doesn't. Maybe he tries to hide the good play calls and sneak in a win, which isn't necessarily the best idea. But I mean, we went from the end of the first quarter, which was that Adkins touchdown, to 5 minutes left in the fourth without a single point scored. And that's just with against the Jets, you don't want to see what does that equate to? 40 something minutes of no points scored from this offense. It comes down to the play calling. And I mean, we had drives where we started at the 30 just like the Jets or the 40 like the Jets and I mean, punt, fumble, it's just we don't want to see stalled out drives that or stalled out 3 and outs. I mean, we want to see long sustaining drives, especially when your quarterback had a great first quarter. Why do you avoid the pass after that? I just don't get it.
Yeah, I mean, it was just a very, very confusing game from Sean. I don't think anybody understood it whatsoever. Like you were saying, I mean, Bo had 13 pass attempts in the first quarter. In the second quarter, that went down to 7. So, I mean, not terrible. But still, after what he was doing, you would think he would get the same amount of pass attempts probably. And then in the third quarter, he gets 2 whole pass attempts. That's just, I don't understand that
Yeah.
whatsoever. It's really unacceptable because Bo was in a really good rhythm, and then Sean
Hmm.
just completely took him out of it. And there are quarterbacks where they can be taken out of their rhythm and they can be perfectly fine come the fourth quarter. But Bo's somebody, at least right now in his career, he needs to have a rhythm set and he needs to continue that throughout the game in order to be at his best. And that's something that
Yeah.
Sean did not supply for him whatsoever.
Yeah, it's kind of like when Dobbins, after his 100-yard game, said how he's kind of the back where if he gets the hot hand, like he'll continue that, but if he's not getting fed the ball or if he's having these stuffed runs, like he'll feed off that as well and not necessarily play as well. But yeah, we want to see Bo, or we want to see Sean give Bo the chance more. I mean, 2 passing attempts or 3, whatever you said for that quarter was just abysmal. That's just not something you want from a second-year guy who's still trying to find his footing. But I will give Sean a little, like, tiny little bit of credit. Um, I mean, we had plays that got called back, obviously, for penalties, and I wrote down the crucial ones. Every single Matt Pert penalty, crucial. When you're starting behind the sticks on first down, he had a false start immediately 1st and 15. That kills a drive usually. Next one, he had a holding penalty on first down or second down, so we got to 2nd and 20, which that negated a 13-yard first down. So we went from having a fresh set of downs to 2nd and 20, and then there's 2 more. Sorry, we have. Pat Bryant on 3rd and 1, false start, got to 3rd and 6, and then again, as anybody could have expected, Pert holding called back to 3rd and 16, which on that play negated a 24-yard first down. So we're getting these chunk plays a little bit, these big first downs, but they're being negated by penalties. So I'll give Sean a little bit of credit there. Um, and then lastly, I have the Miners holding in the end zone safety. You know, pretty self-explanatory. Can't happen.
Yeah, I mean, I just have written down in my notes here that Hurt was absolutely trash. He was really bad out there last year. He played for McGlinchey for I want to say like a game, but that didn't go good. We ended up benching him for Palcho, and that went really good until McGlinchey came back. Palcho really held it down really well. I was honestly shocked that we didn't bench Pert midway through the game. Because
Hmm.
I mean he there was no positive whatsoever from him this game. I feel like he was giving up when he wasn't giving up a penalty. I feel like he was always being the first man on the O line get beat, which I mean he
Yeah.
was playing against Quinnen Williams, solid Jets D line, but I mean still he's an obvious weak link, and I don't see why Palcho shouldn't end up playing next week.
Yeah, I agree, 100%. And I saw floated on Twitter after the game that maybe Sean was, calling less passes and putting less on Pert in the pass protection game because he was consistently committing penalties or getting beat. But I just don't understand that. When you have the depth we do at O-line, I mean, we brought 8, 9 guys to start the season, and we have other guys, like you said. I don't think Pert being an awful offensive lineman would cause Sean to call a less passing game. I mean, we have the guys to come in and take his place if Sean thinks he's genuinely that much of a weak link. I don't know. I don't think Pert should be in the lineup moving forward. If he is, he needs to have a very short leash.
Yeah, I mean, and he's gonna if he ends up starting, he's having his work cut out for him this coming week because Dexter Lawrence, I mean, he will get matched up against Brian Burns sometimes, Abdul Carter, Thibodeau. He's doing really good this year. It's going to be a battle for our O line this week, and it's going to be a game I think where we really end up missing Ben Powers. But I mean, yeah, just we like you said, we have so much depth here. I saw something that was kind of interesting where I can't remember if it was Wattenberg or Forsyth. They played guard at some point in college, so somebody floated the idea out there of playing both of them together. Um, which I mean, I really think anything's better than Palcho at this. Not Palcho. Anything's better than Pert at this point. Like I said, Palcho is kind of who I would want there, but um, I haven't heard anything about Pert being benched. Obviously, we probably won't hear that until game day, but if he's out there, he's really gonna need to lock in because this this Giants D line they're not messing around.
Yeah, I saw what you were talking about. It was sliding Wattenberg to guard and then Forsyth up in center. I think that's a better idea than what we're trying to do now. I mean, worst case scenario, it's the exact same, getting beaten penalties. So, I mean, why not at least try? If Pert's gonna alter your entire game plan, you might as well try something different. I'd like it because I love Forsyth at center.
Yeah,
He gets a lot of slack for the Chiefs game when he the special teams error. But I mean, we've seen in the film, especially last season when he was in at center, the run game started going, and that's something that last season we couldn't get going with Javante. So I'd like to see Forsyth in at center with Wattenberg sliding to guard, but I guess we'll see what Sean decides. I don't know.
yeah. I mean, like you said, you're a big fan of Forsyth. I am too at center because, like you said, he looked amazing last year. He's just he obviously has the familiarity with Bo as well. But yeah, the run game totally opened up last year, and with Javante, with the way he was playing last year, that was a big deal for him to finally have some good games. Um, Obviously, this year he's kind of back to his prime self somehow. I did not see that coming. So I mean,
Yeah,
good
I don't
for
think
him,
anybody
but
did.
yeah, no. Um, I mean, yeah, Forsyth, 100%. I think he should be at center, whether the O line is fully healthy or not. I think Forsyth should be there instead of Wattenberg, but that's a discussion for another day, I guess. Something else I kind of
Yeah.
gathered from this game that probably did hurt our pass offense is the uh, run game wasn't very good whatsoever. Um, JK got 14 carries for 40 yards, so that was 2.9 on average. That's not good whatsoever. And then Harvey, I mean, we gave him 2 carries for 4 yards. Not much to talk about
Yeah.
there. And then we tried. I don't know if we gave Jaleel a carry or not, but Jaleel was attempted to be used in pivotal moments of this game in the fourth quarter, which was completely baffling
Yeah.
considering we didn't use him at all the rest of the game. Um, so I mean that's another thing I got. This run game was not good whatsoever.
Yeah, I wrote the same thing down, and it's going to be a test next week because I mean, you pointed out to the Giants D line. I mean, I don't want us to be a team that can only run on bad defenses. Um, but yeah, I mean, hopefully this game was just, an outlier, and next week we can find our footing. I mean, the Giants, it's somewhere on there. They allow either bottom seven or bottom eight, like amount of yards per game. It's like bottom four passing yards per game. So the expectation is, we can pass all over them, open up the run game, and get that going. But I mean, the last thing you want to see is another 13 carries, whatever amount of yards, like 2 yards per carry for JK and RJ. So yeah, I mean, let's just hope. Maybe that'll help if Forsyth starts at center, but again, we'll
Yeah,
see.
yeah, yeah. I mean, like you said, we'll see. We already talked about, but I mean, this defense, I still don't think they get enough credit, especially from the national media. They're on pace to break the sack record. Um, and I mean, they're just the pass rush is amazing. Nick Benito has taken a huge jump this year. I mean, just
Hmm.
it's always so much fun to look back at that Chargers game when he just beat Joe Alt. He got to Herbert in like less than a second. It felt like it was just amazing. Best edge rusher, defensive player of the year moment. It was just like we've been saying, this defense is really good. Singleton and Moss, they still had their moments this game, although it was only like one or two. But I mean, that's kind of what happens when you play a bad offense. I mean, yeah, this
Hmm.
defense is just absolutely locked down.
Yeah, 100%. I don't know if there's anything else I can say to try and prop them up. I mean, they're playing lights out, and like you said, yeah, they're on pace to break the record in sacks, and they're 10 above the team with the second most sacks, the Steelers. So, I mean, they're just going ham. But real quick, I wanted to point out in the Jets game, we saw a lot of drives starting for the Jets, in great field position. And, immediately I thought like, oh, special teams, big problem. And it is. But the majority of that was the offense. So, we saw that ticky-tacky fumble on Troy, which I don't necessarily know if that should have been called, but I do know if they called that one, they should have called the one on the Jets late in the game. But
Yes,
either
yes,
way, I won't get into that too much, but I mean, we saw so that one they started at our 37-yard line, and then two drives after that, three and out from our own 23-yard line, they start past their 40. Again, three and out from our own 16-yard line, they start at their own 43. So our offense produced the majority of their great field positions, and obviously we had that big kick return for 72 yards. And then there was one kick return later in the game where they returned it to their 43. So special teams is still an issue, but these three and outs are really killing us. And against, high-powered teams or high-powered offenses, like I guess you can't really say the Bills after last night, but
yeah,
any like high-powered offense, they're gonna like capitalize on starting at the 40-yard line every time because that's 20 yards away from a pretty manageable field goal. So that needs to be cleaned up for sure. Three and outs are just killing us. And against the Jets, we're able to sneak away and still win that game.
yeah. I mean, it's something that I've noticed every game we've played this week. Not this week, this year. Um, if we're in lots of our wins, if not all of them, if we are playing a slightly better than average team, it could very well be a L because we're not putting games together whatsoever.
Hmm.
I mean, like you said, we saw it in the Chargers game. You give them good scoring, good field position off special teams, and I mean, with a kicker like Cameron Dicker, I mean, he's gonna hit like every field goal you give him. And we saw that. We saw that in the Colts game. We committed a dumb special teams error, and they got easy field goals, so we lost the game there. So I
Yep.
mean, you can talk about us being undefeated this year, but you also really got to look at the fact that we could almost be like winless this year. Um, because I
Yeah.
mean, we've been blessed to play some bad teams to start here. And they've been way too close. And if we were just playing decent teams, they could very well be else.
Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't even think about it like that. You always hear the whole, if we didn't lose on that second field goals, we'd be 6-0 right now. But I mean, if we didn't have that miraculous comeback in Philadelphia, that's one loss. We're down to 3-3, and then if we don't somehow sneak away with a win in New York, that's 2-4. So, I mean, I think a big thing is having the offense get into a rhythm for more than one game. We saw against Tennessee, the offense wasn't too great. It wasn't like the worst, but it didn't really find its rhythm. Indianapolis, we started off early. We got that early touchdown to Mims. That was a good drive there. But the rest of the game was kind of average. Chargers was a slow start. And then Cincinnati was a game where I was like, okay, maybe this offense is, finding its rhythm. Blew them out 28-3 or whatever it was, 28-6, 28-3. And then Philadelphia, obviously, the offense started out poorly. And after that Cincy game, it was a very big disappointment because I thought maybe we found our footing, obviously, and we didn't. And this game was just a clusterfuck. I don't know what happened to the offense after that first drive, or sorry, second drive when we scored that touchdown. But I mean, hopefully New York is when we can find it. I just want to see like a sustained success from this offense, which we have yet to see for longer than, I mean, what, 2 quarters?
Yeah. I mean, like you said, I mean, we have not seen consistent offense from this team whatsoever this year. And I mean, you look at the Bengals game, it ended 28-3. That was good. But something else I kind of look at is um going into oh, okay, my bad. I was thinking this game totally differently. I was just gonna mention how that Bo Nix interception at the um end of the first half was again, if we were playing a better team, that would have cost us. But um, I was thinking it was kind of a closer game, but we were up 21-3 at that point, so it wasn't that big of a deal. Um,
Yeah.
so I mean, yeah, like you said, we just need to put a full game together. I feel like we kind of do have the idea of what our identity should be on offense, and that is bring out that sixth offensive lineman and just run the ball. Um, when
Yep.
I feel like there's probably a stat out there when we bring Palcho out there as a sixth man, I feel like we're probably averaging at least 5 yards a carry. Even though the defense knows what's coming, and again, like we've talked about, having a good run game opens up the pass game. Um,
Hmm.
so I mean, I really think we have our identity in the run game, but we aren't using it, and then when we fully went to it in the Jets game when it wasn't needed, it just failed.
Right. Yeah, you mentioned when we bring out that sixth offensive lineman, and I know it's like a fun thing to do with fans, but like whenever they report that he's eligible, they all cheer. But you got to think like they wouldn't do that if it wasn't a good thing. Like if for some odd reason you could bring guys in as eligible on defense and they kept reporting 21 is eligible or 49 is eligible, nobody would cheer that Moss or Singleton is coming in. So my thing is like, yeah, it's a good point there that whenever we bring them in, our run game starts going. And I mean, that's just something we need to do against teams like Kansas City, the Giants, especially with that nice D line, Green Bay. So yeah, we have to get this offense in rhythm fast. I'm pretty sure because I mean, Houston, Dallas, Kansas City, New York, all within our next five. Losable games for sure.
Oh yeah, I mean, this schedule, this upcoming, like you said, 5 games, it could make or break how this year goes. I see way too many people on Twitter talking about the Giants being an automatic win, but I mean, I don't see that whatsoever. We just played a close game with the Jets, um, and we're coming off of some shorter rests still. Obviously, we got back from London. We're having our first practice today. Um, I mean, yeah, it's going to be a really tough schedule coming up. Even though teams like Dallas they don't have the best defense ever. Their offense has been amazing. So it's
Yeah,
probably going to be a game where we need our offense to play at least average all 4 quarters. Because I mean, like we've said, it's either been absolutely terrible or it's been good from the offense. And it's usually
right.
been a 3-to-1 ratio with bad to good.
Yeah, I don't understand why people are writing down the Giants as an easy win on to the next week. They started 0-3 with Russ, but I mean that includes an overtime game with Dallas. Then they benched Russ, put Dart in, immediately beat the Chargers, a team we lost to. They did have that blunder in New Orleans. Not a good game from them whatsoever, but they just killed Philly. Beat them
Yeah,
by 17, double Philly's points. Dart looked good, Scatterboo looked good. I think the betting line's at like 7.5 for us, and I just think it's a game that could be, or I mean, honestly, might be a very close one. Like, another
yeah,
one of those fourth quarter drives that decide it all. Yeah, I don't see why we should look past this game at all. It's a really big test for this run game, and I think for Bo Nix as well, because a team that's bottom seven in passing yards allowed, we don't want to see a game where Bo has 175 passing yards with a touchdown and a pick. I think this could be a game where he needs to find his footing, and I've talked about that about a lot of parts of this team, but this is a good game and a very monumental one for Bo if he can, start lighting it on fire for more than one quarter. But that's also Sean Payton's fault.
yeah. I mean, yeah, you say it's a big game for Bo because they do struggle in the pass defense. But another thing is it's a big game for our O line because they do have a great pass rush, and um, I mean, if Sean puts together the right game plan, that won't matter. But if it comes down to Bo needing to improvise, which he has done and he's done great at it, he's had great games where he's improvised almost the whole way. Um,
Yeah.
if it comes down to that, that can be a big problem with this pass rush because from what I've watched of the Giants this year, they get to the quarterback. Bo's great at eluding pressure, but it's usually at least two guys coming in. So I mean, the O line's really gonna have to step up because it's kind of a big test for them. And like you said, big test for Bo. I would say it's almost like a bigger test for Sean almost because he's coming off that Jets game was just horrible. There
Yeah.
wasn't,
100%.
apart from that first quarter, like we said, there was not a single play call I agreed with. It just
Yeah.
he was one of his big things when he took this job was kind of jabbing at Hackett for obviously his clock management because that was brutal, but also the penalties.
Hmm.
That was something he was going to come in and he was going to fix that because he's a Super Bowl winning coach, old school coach. He's going to discipline the players. It has not gotten any better. This year it's gotten worse, I think. Um, I mean, we just we really need to lock in because, like I have said multiple times this podcast, we could easily be like a one-win team or whatever. But lots of that is because of our own fault, and it's not because of how the other teams have played. Um, we're just really undisciplined right now, and I really need to see us get disciplined because um, we're not gonna win deep into the playoffs if we keep playing like this.
Oh, for sure. And yeah, like you said, it is a big game for Sean. And, the first few games this season, I could have said this offense is very predictable. But I mean, in the Jets game, this offense was far from predictable. I mean, who
Yeah,
would have thought a fullback dive on 3rd and 10,
yeah,
um, or one read plays on 3rd and long as well? Like, it's a big test for Sean for the play calling because it's definitely a game where, with the defense they have, he can for 4 quarters have great calls all game long and lead us to a good dominating win. But yeah, it's a big game for him, which, kind of leads into my point of coaching. For this Jets game, my takeaways were coaching really could have lost this game quite easily. To start, I'll start with Sean Payton. He always preaches, like I've said in the last pod, time of possession, turnover battle, blah, blah, blah. We had 3 times the yards the Jets did. We had more first downs, a better rate of conversion on third down, fourth down, won the time of possession, and then we had that one fumble. Um, but I mean, either way, all of that happened. We won by 2 points, and the Jets were, a few yards away from a game-winning field goal. They just crumbled in the fourth quarter. Big sack on us. Defense just, kind of bailed them out there. But I mean, the coaching in that aspect needs to be better. We've lost. It came out this morning. We've lost the most EPA in football due to penalties, and the fifth most due to special teams errors. And we talked about this leads into the Rizzy discussion. We talked about that
Mhm.
72-yard kick return, and I went back right before this podcast and watched it on the all 22, and we saw missed tackles on that one play from Tillman, Kareem Reed, J.L. Skinner, and Will Lutz. We saw Chris Abrams-Drain, track him down, thankfully. But I mean, 4 missed tackles on a kick return is just not acceptable. So I have. We talked about Sean Payton a little bit, or a lot, but with Darren Rizzi, I mean, we're one leverage call away from being sole possession of first place in the AFC, and um, we're allowing. I have it in here somewhere. We're allowing the most kick return yards total and fifth most kick return yards per game. So it's just minor things like the kick return coverage that we need to clean up, and this team is like easily that much better. So the coaching really just has to improve 100%.
Yeah, I mean, I was planning on getting into it, but you got into it. Rizzy, I mean, he was supposed to kind of really help the special teams out. We were kind of, I would say we were probably average last year. But I mean, apart from the Chargers game, really, where we had a forced fumble, um, it's been brutal from our special teams. They, like you said, the leverage call. Sean did say he called that, but I don't know if I'm believing all that. He loves taking blame for other people's
Yeah,
mistakes.
right.
And I mean, yeah, like you said, the four guys that missed tackles they're all apart from Tillman and Cat, who obviously made the play, they're all on the team to play special teams. That they don't get reps anywhere else. Reed, JL,
Hmm.
Bill, they don't get reps anywhere else. Um, so I mean, they're literally not doing their job, and that's obviously hurting us because it's just been it's been brutal from Rizzy so far this year.
Yeah, and you pointed to Sean taking the credit for that leverage penalty. And I mean, I could definitely see that. Sean in his ear saying, let's call this super aggressive field goal block. But it's a 60-yarder. And in the offseason, when we didn't have a coordinator, everybody was pointing to Rizzy's the perfect man. I mean, he's a great special teams coordinator. He'll come in and revamp this entire unit. But if that's what you do, like if you bring him in to be the special teams coordinator, why is Sean trying to override a guy that had prolonged success in New Orleans? Um, I don't know, but in one-score games last year, didn't we had an awful record, and
Oh yeah.
I will give them a little bit of credit for the coaching because in one-score games this year, we already have 3 wins and only 2 losses. So I mean, we're better in that aspect. But I mean, overall, we shouldn't want to only have a good record in one-score games. We want to see like we've mentioned, I think every single podcast, an entire game where the coaching is great, the play is great, defense will always be great. And I don't know if we've seen that, maybe the Cincy game, but the play calling was a little bit suspect as well. But yeah, I think just let Rizzy do his thing. Don't try to override, especially on a 60-yard field goal. But I mean, that was 5 weeks ago, so it's just old news now. But New York is going to be a great game for, both the team and the coaching to, get on the right track.
Yeah, I mean, like you brought up, Sean loves taking blame. He loves taking blame from people that he was so proud to bring in. He brought in Bo. He brought in Rizzy. Um, he brought in basically almost like everybody on this team, really. Um, and he loves taking the blame for it. And then I feel like kind of in the next week he takes control of well, not even takes control. He doesn't let them uh do anything really. Because like we said, the Colts game, he took control of special teams supposedly. And then like we saw in the
Hmm.
Jets game, he just took away all reign of the offense from Bo. Bo had, I mean, obviously it's Sean versus second year QB. He's gonna have say in all the calls and everything, but he took the ball out of Bo's hands. And
Yeah.
I mean, you bring Rizzy in, you worked with him for years, and then you're just taking his job mid game. That's I don't understand that whatsoever. And if that's really what happened, I feel like Rizzy is the type of guy to kind of stand up for himself and say, no, let me handle this. This is my job. Um, but I mean, coaching this year, surprisingly to me, coaching this year apart from Vance has been awful. I was thinking if we would have a
Yeah.
coaching problem, it would be Vance, but so far Vance is doing good. He defense usually kind of not crumbles, but they start playing worse down the stretch. So we'll see with that, but um, yeah, just the coaching has just been so bad. I know we've been talking about that this whole time, but I mean that's how bad it's been.
100%. And that also ties into our draft picks, our draft class this year. Our top three guys that we picked have all been backups, which I mean, I can understand that because Dobbins in front, hesitant to put Barron over like Moss or McMillan early, Pat Bryant in a pretty deep receiving room, and we don't have like that number one guy, but like all these guys are average at bet or at worst. So, but I want to see Barron and Harvey get more involved. I mean, Harvey had 17, snaps this game, and Barron only had 11. But I mean, the defense is playing great, so I'm not going to be like too upset that Barron's not playing. Maybe like in those games where Moss gives up, 100 plus yards to Higgins or whatever it may be. That's when I'd kind of want more, but the defense wasn't a problem in the Jets game. So I'm not too mad that Barron didn't get on the field, but I want to see Harvey more involved. And we always talked in the offseason about how Dobbins and Harvey could be like, that lesser version of Gibbs and Montgomery. But I mean, right now, Harvey's barely seeing the field, so that's nowhere close to being a reality. And I will say that Pat Bryant, has really came about. I mean, in the first 3 weeks, he had 31 snaps total, but in this past game, he had 35, which was the second most of all receivers behind Sutton. And that's just a credit to his blocking. In the run game, phenomenal. We saw in the preseason early his blocking on display on that long Evan Ingram touchdown. So I think like with him, with his continued success in the blocking game, like he's going to be getting the ball. Like if you're on the field for more than 30 snaps a game, like he was, he's going to get the ball. And we saw it this game. He had that nice slant over the middle. Um, but yeah, I'd like to see more involvement from our draft class. But I don't know.
I mean, yeah, I was again planning on getting into this, but you started talking about it. I mean, yeah, I understand we're trying to win a Super Bowl. In our locker room and in our building, we are Super Bowl contenders. The outside world might not say that. We're definitely playoff contenders, but inside our building, we are trying to contend for a Super Bowl. So I understand rookies not getting a whole bunch of reps, but when you draft Jade Barron, who was not a position of need. He was not whatsoever. They said they wanted to take the best player on the board. That's what they did. Um, I feel like you almost you gotta play him somewhat when Riley is having games like the Eagles game. I don't care what people say. He was not good the Eagles game. Hurts kind of just started not targeting him anymore later in the game. He was getting cooked all game before that. Um, he was not that good in the Chargers game. Um, Colts game, he got cooked a couple times. I mean, it's just there's no reason why Barron should not be playing. I think you said he got 11 snaps. Was that right?
I closed out. It was either 11 or like 17. I know he played under 20% of the total snaps, so low amount.
I mean, yeah, he needs, in my opinion, he needs to begin at least 30 to 40 snaps a game. He's been really good in coverage. He was really good in coverage in the Eagles game, down the stretch there. He's great at tackling. He's kind of like a safety in that way. He he's amazing at tackling. Obviously, with our linebacker problems, you could say, hey, maybe put him in there at linebacker every once in a while, especially on passing downs, because you know he won't have to guard a huge running back or somebody like Scadaboo. Um, so I mean, it's just we need to be seeing more of our rookies. I mean, RJ, I would be fine with him not getting much carries if he was much more involved in the passing game, but he's just not getting touches, period. And he's a great playmaker. I don't know for sure, but I would say when he gets out and running, he might be the fastest guy on the team. Um, between him and Mims, probably. Um, I mean, we talk about Sean at least talks about Evan Ingram being the Joker and all this, and he's been getting more involved. But I really think RJ is like he really has shades of Alvin Kamara type play. Obviously not in the pass protection yet. But I mean, we just got to see more from the rookies. I feel like they're just getting really underutilized, and they are good players.
Mm,
We've seen the flashes. So I mean,
yeah.
at least put them out there and kind of prove us wrong that hey, maybe they are just actually bad, and that's not why they're not playing. But I mean, yeah, we got to see more from rookies. Something
Right.
else. This is gonna sound kind of crazy, but I was playing Madden earlier, and I win the
Hmm.
Wildcat with RJ, and that just reminded me that he was a quarterback in college. Um, so I mean, if you want to get super tricky with him, just to get him involved somehow, run the Wildcat with them. Just we gotta find ways to get him involved. And there's no reason he shouldn't be getting involved. I would be perfectly fine just taking away all of Bidet and now Jaleel snaps and just giving them to RJ pretty much. And then put
Yeah.
JK in for the pass protection on third downs. There's no reason he should not be playing more than. I mean, Pat Bryant, you said it. He did play a lot more. His blocking is great,
Hmm.
and I'm fine with a rookie receiver not being super involved, um, especially with this passing
Yeah.
game because we see second year receivers all the time come in and play night and day better. They got plenty of time to improve, but running backs, I mean, with the way they're trending, they got 2 to 3 prime years sometimes, and that's including their rookie years. So we just need to get our rookies more involved because they're young, they're explosive players, and I really think they could help us out.
Yeah, you talked about RJ playing quarterback at one point, but I mean we saw on Sunday Night Football Dan Campbell calling Montgomery to throw a pass to Goff. I mean not necessarily that play call because it was very very risky, but I kind of do want to see RJ in more like exclusive packages tailored to him and his play style, like especially in the red zone. If he just has one, I mean, we saw Derrick Henry do it a lot, and I don't think he ever played quarterback. I could be wrong, but being a wildcat, running like 2 yards up, they're obviously on the 1 yard line, but he's in the backfield and shotgun, running up, then tossing it to a lineman that's eligible. I'd want to see like one trick kind of play with RJ Harvey at Wildcat, because then it would open up. Teams will have to understand like, hey, he can pass the ball. He used to be a quarterback, but I mean, yeah, I kind of want to see that. You're right. And then Barron, yeah, I was gonna say I do understand maybe not Sean or Vance wanting to put Barron at outside corner, just specifically because McMillan's contract expires, and the hopes are Barron comes in as that nickel. But I mean, even with Moss playing bad, we still have guys below him that can come in. Like I am a big fan of Chris Abrams' train, and
Yep.
I have been waiting for the moment where he gets those critical snaps against T Higgins in that Bengals game or whatever it may be. It's just Barron being a nickel shouldn't shy Sean away from putting Cad in over Riley. So there are these coaching tweaks that I would make, and I just wish that we could see one of them, Forsythe going in at center over Wattenberg, taking Pert out late in the game against the Jets, Barron coming in more, whatever it may be. I think there are, areas where I do wish Sean would be more aggressive or more experimental. But it is week 6, or now it's week 7. But I mean, there's still time, so I'm hoping he's just giving them, the first third of the season to adjust to the speed of the NFL, the travel, because we've had a brutal stretch, from
Yeah,
LA to London to Philly. So, yeah, hopefully we see it more. So I'm not going to give him too much slack for, not necessarily bringing in Forsythe, but Forsythe's been in the year or been in the NFL for a while. So, yeah, I don't know. It's just minor things in terms of, like starting players that he could clean up on. But overall, the coaching
yeah,
has just been pretty big problem.
yeah. It really has. I mean, I've said it on Twitter multiple times. Just to kind of get back to the play calling for a second. Sean is a great coach. He rebuilt this team. He rebuilt the culture. He really just turned it around. But his play calling is really just kind of outdated. Um, is kind of the best word I can think of now. Um, and I really think I want him to be our coach. I'm not saying fire Sean. Saying Sean isn't a good play caller is not me saying I want Sean gone. Um, I just think
Hmm.
he should take a step back in play calling, let Webb do a little bit more of that. Sean can still call plays every once in a while, but just at least kind of see what Davis Webb got play calling because we saw it in the preseason. He was really good. And all around the league, we see young offensive coordinators coming in and absolutely kind of changing the game, really. Like you said, a lot more of stuff like the Lions having different players throw the ball than the quarterback. Um, and I didn't mention RJ and the Wildcats saying let him throw every game or anything like that. Just
Yeah.
I wanted to see I want to see more things that we can do to open up the offense and really become a modern offense because we run those flea flickers once every 5 weeks or whatever, but I want to see a more modern offense kind of because I understand that Bo is I perfectly fine with seeing screens and stuff like that, but it's like all we call right now is screens and runs and yeah, I mean
Yeah.
I just kind of want to see this offense get not revamped, but kind of try to add in some more modern play calls and schemes.
Right. Yeah, those one read plays are really just I mean there's moments where they're, useful, but when you're calling one read plays on first and second down, you can get behind the sticks pretty easily. And back to the point of, having these coaching decisions, there's gonna be a big one here soon if, well, I guess when or if, however you're gonna say it, Greenlaw comes back because then it turns to, well, who are you gonna bench, Sternad
Yep,
or Singleton? Which
yep.
I don't know. For specifically this Giants game, if Greenlaw is able to, be activated off IR, I would kind of lean towards throwing in Greenlaw with Sternad, just because Sternad is leading the league in, sacks as a middle linebacker. Greenlaw in coverage with Sternad blitzing, and we don't even need to blitz, but I do like the idea of Greenlaw next to Sternad over Singleton. But again, like I won't be too upset either way. I do think it will be a pretty big discussion on Broncos Twitter. Um, but yeah, I wonder how much override Sean will have in that versus, Vance just saying let's replace Sternad because Vance 100% I believe will keep Singleton on the field. So, I mean, I guess we'll see, but that will probably be a very hot discussion whenever he gets activated.
I mean, yeah, I fully agree with that. I don't think I don't want to speak for you, but I think you probably feel the same way. I don't think Greenlaw's coming back this week. I don't see that happening.
Yeah.
I think it's still going to be. I could very well see at least 2 more weeks until he plays. I don't see like another
Right.
IR stint or anything like that, but I don't think he'll be quite ready yet. And if he is though, that's great because we need a great middle linebacker. So as long as he stays healthy and does his stuff, does his thing, that's gonna be huge for us. But like you said with Sternad and Singleton, who to play at this point now, I am going to be. I'm just going to be absolutely baffled if I see it coming. I know Singleton's going to play, but I'm just gonna. I'm gonna be so flabbergasted when we still end up playing Singleton over Sternad. I could see Sternad almost being like benched just with the way they love Singleton because I mean they just refuse to not play him even when it's going absolutely horrible. And I really think Sternad's the better option right now. I mean, at the end, around the end of last year, he started struggling kind of, but I mean, he's looked amazing so far this year. He's looked better than he ever has. And I mean, coming into this year, I was saying, hey, maybe Greenlaw playing next to Singleton will help Singleton out, take away some of those super bad moments. But I'm not sure I see that happening now. I didn't. I knew Singleton wasn't going to look like elite or anything coming off of an ACL injury, but I mean, he just can't move. It, there's no there's nothing that would convince me to play Singleton over Stranad. But again, I see it probably happening. Um, so I mean that is what it
Yeah.
is. Hopefully Singleton can somehow start like moving like a NFL player again.
Yeah, that was my only point in like support of Singleton was, maybe having that, you know, all pro, Pro Bowl caliber Greenlaw next to him would help him in a way. But I also don't understand why. Like, I hope if we do replace Greenlaw or Strnad with Singleton, we still see packages with Strnad because I mean, if we bench our third leading sacker on this team as a middle linebacker, by the way, it'd
Yep.
kind of be a blunder. I don't really expect him to just be benched for the season. It kind of wouldn't make sense. But I mean, there is always that hope that maybe having an elite linebacker like Greenlaw next to Singleton, he'd perform better. But I don't know. It's going to be quite controversial whenever we get that, game day news, Singleton over Sternad. But
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's going to be interesting for sure. I was just checking Zach Stevens' tweets to see if there's anything about practice, but there's not. Only thing I'm seeing that's kind of interesting is that Audric Estime was released. Um, I mean, that has nothing to do with us
yep,
now. Um, so I mean,
I think
just
there's a certain Broncos account named Epic Normie or something that would immediately say we should sign him.
yeah, yeah, definitely somebody like that. Uh, but we've kind of talked about this upcoming game against the Giants, but um, is there anything that really sticks out to you that we haven't mentioned yet?
No, I think it's pretty much everything we've mentioned.
Yeah,
My biggest thing about this game would be offense needs to find a rhythm. Um, and then we kind of like the two leading scramble percentages in the NFL right now are, Fields and Dart. So we're facing pretty much the same style of quarterback. I won't say the same skill because Dart is looking at like 10 times better than Fields has.
oh yeah,
Um, but yeah, we're going to have to contain Dart. And with this pass rush, I'm pretty confident we'd be able to do that. So really, it just brings me back to the whole point of Sean and this offense needs to find a rhythm, and we win this game.
yeah. Um, I mean, like we've talked about, people are overlooking this Giants game, and really quick, I can move on from this in a second, but I just want to say it for everybody saying that. You're obviously not watching the games really, because I think I've pretty much watched all of the Dart games apart from the New Orleans one, and the offense looks completely different than it did with Russ. Um, it's a brand new offense out there. It's a lot better, even with neighbors out. But something that I know you have talked about, Ben, I don't think you mentioned it today, but us forcing turnovers is something that we need to see to really beat great teams. Not saying the Giants are a great team, but Jackson Dart will turn it over. Um, he can't find it right now, but I know for a fact he fumbled at least twice. He threw two INTs against the Saints. So I mean, if there's a game for us finally get to finally get some turnovers, it's this game. I think that would kind of possibly be a key to us winning this game. Is us turning the ball over.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I talked about it a lot on Twitter. That's kind of like the only knock I'm giving this defense. It's been like 3 games. I know it's been 222 snaps. I don't remember how many like games that equates to, but 222 snaps without a turnover. And I will say Sean is pretty solid against rookie quarterbacks, but I feel like we haven't really faced one, with the style of Dart. He's leading in both scramble rate and designed rush rate. So with Scadaboo back there, who's kind of been, lighting it on fire the last 2 weeks, it's going to be an interesting test for this defense. I know it's a rookie, but a guy who can, pass solidly, run the ball pretty well, and has a solid run game with him. It's really going to be a big thing for our defense to contain, those aspects. And yeah, I mean, you mentioned everyone writing this game off as a win already. Kind of hasn't been watching because we just watched our team hold, the Jets to 11 points, and we only won by 2. And I don't know about you, but I'm pretty sure the Giants have a better offense than the New York Jets.
Oh yeah, they 1000% do. And something you mentioned with Dart rushing. I don't know if there's a stat out there, but it's just kind of something that I feel like is Vance kind of struggles against mobile quarterbacks. He didn't against Fields, but with all respect to Fields, he just really isn't a good quarterback. And they just don't have a good offense at all. So I mean, again, it's Vance against a rookie. But I mean, this game I could easily see the Giants coming in and beating us. I don't think that's what will happen, but I could see it happening. So I don't know if you want to give your score prediction and then I can give mine, but yeah,
Uh, yeah, I do feel like this game will be close. I know last week with the Jets, we talked about how it could be, but we all predicted pretty much a pretty swift win, easy win. But yeah, this game, I think, luckily it's in the 3 o'clock slate, which I've had this weird conspiracy theory that we tend to play better in those 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock games where nobody's watching us. But I do
yeah,
think this game will be close within a touchdown. I imagine. I don't want to know if I want to say within a field goal, but I'll say like, gosh, I don't know, 27 to 20. Let's do 27-24. Yeah, let's say it's by a field goal.
yeah, yeah.
27-24
Um,
Denver. Sorry, I should have
oh
clarified.
yeah, 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 no, you did. Um, I mean, I'm just gonna be completely honest. Um, I'm probably really never gonna pick the Broncos to lose. Unless if we're
Yeah,
and this is years out. Unless if we're like a really bad team, then I might. But I mean,
right.
although we might play like a bad team sometimes, we have all the tools to be a great team. So I would say this game. Oh man, I'm gonna have to go. I'll say we scored 27. I feel like that's kind of a sweet spot for us.
Hmm.
I'll go 27-17. I don't know. Yeah, I'll say
I'd be happy
twenty-seven
with a
seventeen.
27-17.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be a good
Um,
game.
I do definitely
And I
think something I feel like we kind of do. I feel like it will be a close game going into the fourth quarter, but that's when we'll pull away and take that 10-point lead. So I'm not saying we're gonna
yeah.
be up by 2 scores the whole game. I think you were gonna say something, so I'll let you go.
Oh, you're good. I was just gonna say, I was looking for this on my phone. I saved it, but yeah, the Giants are allowing 24 points a game, and they played the Saints and gave up 26. So I think 27 would be a number that I look to, or yeah, look for our offense to score. Because I mean, 27 points, we should be able to at least be in the game, and I
Yeah,
think that gives us the chance to at least if they have 27 come down and win the game. But yeah, I do like that 27 number. I think our defense can hold them for sure under 27 points. So
Yeah.
yeah, I like our. I think we both had 27 in ours. I was 27,
Yep.
24. You were 27, 17.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, it's like we've talked about our offense this year. I mean, kind of my expectation, if we just played how we've played this year, we're probably gonna score less than 27 points. But I
Yeah,
would say 27 is kind of the average of what we want to see from this offense. It's doing enough to win. Uh,
yep.
but I think this offense has the potential. We could go out and score 40 points if we wanted to. But I'm not saying that's going to happen. It's probably a really low percent that that happens. But I mean, it would not shock me if we went out there and blew out the Giants. But I definitely see it being a close game.
Yeah, I mean, they're so like hit or miss with their offense. I mean, I know it's hard to tell because Russ was in for half the season so far and so was Dart. But I mean, going through how many points they scored in their 6 games, it was 6, 37, down to 9, then 21, down to 14, up to 34. So like if we're following this trend, they're in line to score less than 20. But
Yeah,
football isn't a trend thing, so I guess we'll see. I do think this defense though can keep them under 20 points. So all we need to do is, at least get into that 20 range, and I think we have a very good shot at winning.
yeah. So I mean, really quick before we wrap this up, do you think Greenlaw is going to be back?
No, no, not a
Yeah.
chance. I don't think so. It's
Yeah.
been weird, man. I don't know. I don't want to equate it to like our previous, or injury bluffs where, someone's out for the entire year, but it's weird because he was supposed to play, or he suffered that quad injury in the offseason. And then we were told he'll be back for, the start of the camp. He'll play some in the preseason. And then we got to the preseason and we held him out the first two and said he should get some snaps in the third. And then suffered a minor tweak, didn't play in the third. We were told he'd be back early in the season, wasn't going to be put on IR, suffered or re-aggravated it, got put on IR, and then we've heard nothing. Um, I mean, he's been traveling. He was at the game in London with us. I just don't see it. It's been weird. We don't have much information, so I guess that makes me pessimistic. I mean, it'd be great if he came back. I just
Yeah.
don't. I think we're stewed at 3 weeks out.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not at all saying that I don't want Greenlaw back, but yeah, I don't see it happening either.
Right.
It's been, it's been just such a weird situation with him. I don't get it. Something else, just really quick, I want to talk about before we wrap it up here. Is we were talking about Singleton, Sternad when Greenlaw comes back. What about Drew Sanders? Um, we're gonna have, in my opinion, when Sanders is healthy, he could definitely begin the linebacker two snaps. But you can say the exact same for Cernad and then Singleton with this coaching staff. He's gonna get his reps. So it's gonna be interesting what we do when we have a fully healthy linebacker room.
Yeah, it's weird with Sanders because I mean, before Sean was here, like we tried putting him at outside linebacker. Then we tried, like his college position, we tried putting him back at middle linebacker, and he's been like fluctuating between the two. Then he suffered a brutal injury, which was really hard to hear. But I think with Benito and Cooper, and then the depth in that room, I don't think there's much of a like space for him to play outside. So I'd like to see a little bit of him inside. Which, I mean, with this inside linebacker room, there is 100% opportunity. So I'd like to see that, but we'll see. Because it also lines up with if Greenlaw comes back, then there won't be much room. But that's also a big if he does come back. So yeah. But yeah, thanks for putting me on the pod. It's 2 weeks now. Appreciate it.
Of course, yeah, yeah. So I mean, like I said, I'll link Ben's Twitter in the description. Great follow. So I mean, yeah, let me know your thoughts on this game in the comments. And I might do a preview pod to the Giants game. I might. I don't know. I know I've said that in previous weeks, but um, just keep an eye out for that possibly. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you all have a great day.